Hello. Welcome back. This is lesson number 3 on the course. Welcome to America. And this lesson, we will be talking about how to get information. All right. Information is the key. If you don't have information, you will not make the right decisions and on time. All right. So in this lesson, we will be talking about how to get information. Before I get started, right, I want to let you know information in the United States is so robustly available, and if this information is not condensed in a format that is easily accessible and can be assimilated, you will sit on information all day long and you will still remain unchanged. All right, so in this lesson I will be talking with you on techniques on how you can easily find, retain and use information. Okay, so now let's get started. So how do you get access to information? Remember, it is the information that you will receive in this US that will change you. Once you are in the United States, it's the information that you will receive that will change you. The people you hang out with, the things you do, the channels you visit will enable that you get information, and you might get the wrong information or the right information. But in this lesson, I'll be providing techniques on how you can get information and how you can retain this information for proper use. Rules of thumb though: 1. Never settle for the first thing you hear. Never. Don't you just hear this is where it is and then you settle for it. No. There are other options always available. There are always options in America. All right. Never settle for the first thing you hear. Scan your options before you make the decision. Scan. 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 I will talk to you about that in a bit. Ask questions. And a technique on how to ask questions: if you are out looking for something, ask at least 4 family members. 4. Even those that are out of the United States. There are people who are out of this country that know more about this country than people who are within this country. So ensure that you ask 4 family members, ask 4 friends. That gives you 8. Then ask Google, ask Facebook, and ask YouTube. These 4 avenues will ensure that you are making the right decision. These 4 people will not let you astray. 4 family members, 4 friends, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Actually, there are 5, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. 4 family members, 4 friends, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. These channels will never let you astray if you use them effectively. Ask these 5 channels before you make any decision. When you go to social media channels like Facebook, YouTube, and Google to find to look for information, use terms like what, where, and why not. You need to know your options, and it's gonna help you get the right information. Like I said earlier, remember, there are always options. That is what makes the United States very different. That's what makes it very beautiful. There is always an option. So scan your options. Because you have so many options, you want to make sure you scan your options and go for the one that better suits your needs. So each time before you go settling for any information, ensure that you search, considerable, alternative, and negotiate. He who comes to the negotiation table with an alternative stands a greater chance of winning. If you're telling me to give it to you for $5, and you say because CVS is giving it at $2, definitely oh sorry, what did I say? If you're asking me to give it to you for $3 and you say CVS is giving it at $3, probably that's something I should consider, right? Yeah, so you have to always search and search a considerable alternative before you make any decision. Search considerable alternatives and negotiate. Scan, search considerable alternatives and negotiate before you settle for any option. So now, how to use Facebook, Google, and YouTube to get information. Listen, the information that is stored on these networks is placed in there by people, and the people that put in this information, they sit and they think on how you're going to think. When you come to this Facebook or YouTube, they already think what you'll be thinking, so they put it in there so that when you put in these key phrases, they're going to provide that information to you. Okay, so for example, if I'm looking for gold, if I just say I'm looking for gold, I'll go to Google and type where to find gold. If you end here, then your search is very limited. You have to use alternative ways of searching for that same information. You might say gold depots near me, refined gold near me. You have different alternatives. Gold sellers near me. You have different alternatives. Gold for sale, cheap gold depots. So you have to use alternative search phrases so that you can pull up different information on a particular subject. Okay, so learn to use alternative search phrases when you're looking for information. Don't just go say gold near me and end on that first page and be so very contented that that's the best information you've had. No, use alternative search phrases. You're going to have different other information that's going to be populating your screens, and then you can make a good decision based off the information you will receive. This is the next step. You have to call and keep calling until someone gives you the information you are looking for. Call and keep calling. By the way, you only paying your phone service once a month, right? So call and keep calling until somebody gives you the kind of information you're looking for. Remember this, working in the United States now for a while, I understand that people work here in shifts. The first shift you're calling might be somebody that is not very informed about what you're trying to, the information you're trying to get, and they're going to give you answers to close you off that phone. Alright, if you realize that you called at 7:30 and somebody gave you an answer that you didn't like, do not call again, because that's the same person you're going to be talking to. Call somewhere around 3 because the shift will change and somebody else is going to come in and sit there, and that person might be the person that's going to give you the information you're looking for. Okay, and the next day call. If that person didn't answer right, the next day call again. It might be a different person sitting on that chair, because they do this thing they call how do you call it, rotatory positioning within the office, where people can actually move around. So keep calling until you might get someone that is going to give you the right information. Okay, and then visit websites and get as much information as possible. Most businesses in the US have websites attached to them, and before you start calling, go to these websites. Look onto these websites, browse through, and get as much information as possible, so that when you're calling, you're telling them what is right. You're telling them, this is what I saw, and this is why I'm making these demands. I remember I wanted to go on a vacation trip with my family, and I went on their website. They were actually advertising a vacation package for maybe $162 a night. And when I called to do the reservation, the lady was like, it's 200 and something a night. I'm like, nope, on your website it is being advertised at this, so why are you giving me this? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, the promotion went on and I wasn't aware of it. I'm like, okay, so book me in for $169. And so if I wasn't if this information wasn't at my disposal, I will be going in for a 200 and something dollars reservation, when I could have easily gone in for 100 and something. So information is important. Visit websites and get as much information as possible about what you're looking for. Because sometimes corporate bodies make decisions before they trickle down to the employee that is working on the area. It takes a while, and maybe you are fortunate enough to see these decisions that the corporate body made before the employee. It's very possible. So make sure you visit their websites, and then you come back and make before you make decisions that you want to make. Next, you have to be bold to present alternatives. You must be bold to present alternatives. When it comes to presenting alternatives, be very bold. Because when you do the right research, you have the right information. And when these people are talking to you, you give them alternatives. You tell them why you think it's different, why they should treat you differently. Provide alternatives. Okay? Provide alternatives. It's very important. And when you do all of these things, all right, you will realize that you can easily obtain information that is going to help you make the right decisions. So like I said before you head out there looking for information, remember to search considerable alternatives before you, and negotiate before you make that decision. Search considerable alternatives and negotiate before you make that decision. Keep this word with you. Scan. You know, like you scan something, you scan the environment. Scan stands for search considerable alternatives and negotiate. Always negotiate. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope this helped you a little bit and it has empowered you in your search of information to enhance your integration into the United States. All right. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.